It has been a while since I read all these books, but no matter how many books I read after them or how many books I tried to read before them, these are the stories which actually tended to stay with me, and these are the books which I will never ever in my life stop recommending to people no matter what happens. And we are going to talk about all these books which are my absolute favorite. In part by part, we'll talk about 4 books in this video, so follow along. Hola, hi, bonjour, namaste everyone. A very warm welcome to my channel. This is Muskan and I hope that you all are doing great, and if not, then please be hopeful and please be patient, because if it's the silence before the storm, then it is the storm before the silence. So the first book that we are going to talk about in today's video is The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. This is the first book that I read by him and it was published in the year 2003. The entire plot is set against the backdrop of Afghanistan in the 1970s. When it was the time of Soviet invasions, and apart from reading the story of the protagonist of this book, you get to read the life of other victims who were trying to take refuge in other countries like Pakistan, India and Bangladesh. And it is a story about 2 friends named Amir and Hassan, and Amir is from a very well-to-do family while Hassan is their servant son. And through the story of these 2 characters, you get to explore a lot of themes of guilt and atonement, of sexual harassment, of social hierarchy and social order, and of a relationship between a father and a child. And through the story of Amir and Hassan, the major theme that has been covered in this book, as many critics claim it to be, is the theme of guilt and atonement. There has been an incident in the book where Amir could have helped Hassan, he could have saved him, but being a coward he did not, and the guilt of this mistake consumes him throughout his life. And in parallel to the story of Amir and Hassan, the atrocities of the society and the story of their fathers, I mean the story of Amir's and Hassan's father, run in parallel. And Amir's father is such an obnoxious tyrant. I mean, his character is that of an obnoxious tyrant. I really hated him for the conditioning that he is giving to his son. And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but I'm not blaming Amir. He is a really beautiful friend, but at the time when he was needed, at the time when Hassan needed him the most, he could not help him, or rather he did not help him. And this is about them. And when in the later part of the novel, or in the end, I mean when they have all grown up, Amir returns from America to Afghanistan in order to atone for his guilt, for his mistake. And we get to read that, and it is, I wouldn't actually frame it, but yeah, it is a Bildungsroman or coming of age narrative of these characters. But it is sad, and I cried. I wouldn't say I cried a lot, but yes, I cried while reading this book, and you should read it. This is a must read. This is a book which I will recommend to everyone. I mean, all the books in this video are the books that I'll recommend to everyone, but this one is really special, and you must read this book. Okay, moving on. So the next book in line, and I don't know why I waited for so long to read this book, is The Book Thief. It was published in the year 2006, and it is a historical fiction. And even the last book that I was talking about, that is The Kite Runner, is a historical fiction as well. And talking about the genre, like historical fiction and literary fiction are 2 of my favorite genres to read, and I really love reading them. That's why this book has become a favorite read for me. And even though it's not because of the historical fiction or the genre that I love, but these books deserve to be in the bookshelf of every reader. And this novel, or the plot, is set in the Nazi Germany during the time of the Second World War, and it is a Bildungsroman, or a coming of age narrative of a little girl named Liesel, who is the protagonist of the novel, while the story is narrated by death itself. And through this narration we get to know about the life of other victims of the war, and the theme of education is highlighted in this book with literature, reading and writing, because education is something which gives you freedom. So it is highlighted in this book right from the very beginning, when Liesl picks up a book from a railway station, and despite not being able to read it, despite not being able to understand them, she tries to learn slowly to read and to write, and then she develops this habit of reading every time. Rather than interacting with people, she reads a lot more than interacting with people. And despite of all the chaos of this cruel world, despite of all the setting of war and the atrocities of the war, we get to know that Liesl is trying to overcome her fears and her traumas by getting to learn to love and receiving the love back from her foster family. And the relationship between her foster father and Liesl is so beautiful that they both spend time together and they both try to learn reading. Her father knows a little bit, tutti frutti aati hai, and then he teaches her daughter, and on her every birthday, almost on her every birthday, they get her a new book. And it is a story of her, that that there's a possibility and there's hope and there's love. I mean, amidst war, the theme of love is central to the story. She finds friends, she finds a family apart from her birth family, she finds love in her foster family, and the story deserved, I mean, this is the reality, right? So you cannot expect a really optimistic or positive ending or positive atmosphere, because it's a time of war, and during those times we need people the most, we need their love the most, and that is what has been highlighted in this book through the story of the Liesl. And I would like you to read it. I would really want that you read this book, and even though it is really thick, I understand, but yeah, it's almost 600 pages, but you won't feel like you're reading 600 pages. You will just, it is fast paced, and the story is so filled with curiosity that you won't be able to put this book down. And I hope that you read it, and if you do, then please let me know in the comments, and if you have read it, then do make it a point to write something in the comments. I received this book as a gift, and I feel so grateful that I got to read this book, and this book made me cry, and it will break your heart in pieces, but there's a certainty that it will put all those pieces back together. So do give it a read. So the next book is Samadhi by Gitanjali Shri, and it is my absolute favorite, my favorite test book of all the books that I have read so far. And I would like to recommend this to you. I mean, even if you don't pick up any other book from this video or from other videos, do pick this one up and give it all your patience and time to understand each and every page, to understand all the metaphors present in this book. And to sum it up all in one sentence, I would like to say that there's not even a single theme which has not been discussed in this book. I mean, the themes of partition, of nature, of environmental issues, of the queer community, of familial relationships, of relationships between strangers, of the relationships that we share with nature and its creations. And I have talked about this book in detail in one of my videos on YouTube, and do check it out. And if you do, then please let me know how you liked it, and we will move on to other book as well. So the next and the last book in this video is The New Wilderness by Diane. It is a dystopian novel, and mind you me, after reading this book, I was so stunned that it made me question about the way we live, the world we live in, and the world that we as humans have created. It is a narrative where there's an academic experiment being conducted, where a group of 18 people are moving away from the city to live in the wilderness. I mean, we have exploited Mother Nature, we have exploited Mother Earth to such an extent where there's only high-rise buildings everywhere, there's industries everywhere, all the rivers have dried up, there are no trees to be seen whatsoever, and because of all this pollution, of this exploitation, all this has backfired upon us, where we could see our deteriorating health or because of living in this polluted world, and in order to save ourselves from that, in order to escape from the city life, we are trying to take refuge in the wilderness. And in this experiment of this academic experiment where a group of 18 people are going to the wilderness is so easier said than done, because to live amongst the wilderness is so difficult. There's absolute no comforts or no luxuries that one could have in the cities. There's extremely harsh temperatures. It could be either extremely cold or extremely hot, or it could be arid where there's no vegetation at all. There's fear of wild animals, of insects, and of harsh environmental conditions. And it is also a story about a girl named Beatrice and her mother Agnes. So the girl Beatrice is facing a lot of health issues. Her health has been deteriorating day by day, and none of the doctors could find a way out. So her mother Agnes is so worried, and in order to give her a better life, she is taking her along with her on this academic experiment to the wilderness. And slowly by slowly we see that her health has been improving, but it comes with a price, because slowly, one by one, these people, because of living in such a harsh, I mean, the environment is not harsh, it is just that we are not used to living in it. We are used to our comfortable life of living in our four walls. That is what the major issue is. So they start dying one after the other. I mean, not everyone dies, but yeah. So through the story of Beatrice and Agnes, we get to read a very beautiful portrayal of a mother-daughter relationship. And this book is all about nature. See, mother and daughter, and then mother earth and all the children, all of its creations. So it beautifully explores that. I mean, I just realized it. See, Beatrice, so the mother Agnes realizes to a point that it cannot always be about her. I mean, even though the daughter is having a lot of health issues, her health has been deteriorating, and she took care of that. She took her to the wilderness, but then she realizes that it is her life as well. So then the same is with our mother nature, that we have exploited it to such an extent that now she is angry, and obviously it is obvious that she will angry, and we are facing so many issues, we are facing so many natural calamities, and it's not a balance is not there. It is a dystopian novel which is only trying to show us our future, and if we don't act upon it as soon as possible, that then we are also going to have a life. And it is our reality as well. We don't want to live in the cities, because it's all filled with pollution. It's global warming and no water issues and everything, and so we are trying to take refuge or take an escape to the cities where we could be close to nature. So it is a book about that, and it is trying to make us aware of our own responsibilities, that we should be fulfilling our duties, and we should be responsible towards mother nature, towards mother earth. And I really hope that it reflects upon other people as well, that it makes other people aware. And I hope that you read this book, because it's really informative and you should read it. And enough of me recommending books to you. So if you liked watching this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't, give it a thumbs down. No worries, just stay happy, stay blessed, and keep reading until we meet next time. Ciao.